Cry, the Beloved Country, Chapter 1. But I should probably tell you guys a little bit about myself and my connection here. Of course, I grew up in South Africa from 1959 to 1977 when I immigrated to America. So South Africa is about twice the size of Texas, but it has a very similar history to the United States of America. Jamestown, first white settlement, first English settlement here in America in 1607, I think it was. The Dutch were the first white settlers in South Africa in about 1652. So it was the Dutch who came and colonized the southern tip of Africa, followed by the British in about the 1820s or so. So there's a history here of 300 years of colonial oppression over the black tribes of South Africa. And in chapter 1 is what's called a sort of an interchapter. The story doesn't really begin until chapter 2. But in chapter 1, Alan Paton describes South Africa using a beautiful analogy of the soil. The soil is the tribe. It's a symbol of the tribe. And it's also, chapter 1 is a sort of a picture of this novel in capsule form. The novel begins in 1948. And it describes South Africa after 300 years of white colonial oppression over the blacks, over black culture. The black tribal system has been destroyed. The black homelands have been decimated. And blacks, in order to survive, of course, are now flooding into the white cities, such as Johannesburg, the biggest city in South Africa. So it's beautiful language. Just listen to it and realize that it's talking about people of South Africa, specifically black culture. Follow along in your books as I read. There is a lovely road that runs from Ikopo into the hills. These hills are grass-covered and rolling, and they are lovely beyond any singing of it. The road climbs 7 miles into them to Carisbrook, and from there, if there is no mist, you look down on one of the fairest valleys of Africa. About you there is grass and bracken. You may hear the forlorn crying of the titihoya, one of the birds of the field. Below you is the valley of the Umkumkulu, on its journey to the Drakensberg, to the sea, and beyond and behind the river, great hill after great hill, and beyond and behind them, the mountains of Engeli and East Griqualand. So, this doesn't sound much like Lion King, does it? It's describing the eastern coastal area of South Africa along the Indian Ocean. And it is absolutely beautiful, one of the most beautiful parts of the world. The grass is rich and matted, and you cannot see the soil. It holds the rain and the mist, and they seep into the ground, feeding the streams in every kloof or valley. It is well tended, and not too many cattle feed upon it. Not too many fires burn on it, laying bare the soil. Stand unshod on it, for the ground is holy, being even as it came from the Creator. It's a strange echo there back to the words of Yahweh when he said to Moses before the burning bush, stand unshod, take off your shoes before this ground. For the ground is holy, being even as it came from the Creator. Keep it, guard it, care for it. For it keeps men, guards men, cares for men. Just cross out destroy it and man is destroyed. That's not a sentence which Alan Paton meant to put in there. Should have been erased. It doesn't need to be there. Where you stand, the grass is rich and matted. You cannot see the soil. But the rich green hills break down. They fall to the valley below, and falling, change their nature. For they grow red and bare. They cannot hold the rain and mist. The streams are dry in the kloofs, the valleys. Too many cattle feed upon the grass, and too many fires have burned it. Stand shod upon it. In other words, keep your shoes on, for it is coarse and sharp, and the stones cut under the feet. It is not kept or guarded or cared for. It no longer keeps men, guards men, cares for men. The titihoya does not cry anymore. The great red hills stand desolate, and the earth is torn away like flesh. The lightning flashes over them. The clouds pour down upon them. The dead streams come to life, full of the red blood of the earth. Down in the valleys, women scratch the soil that is left, and the maize hardly reaches the height of a man. They are valleys of old men and old women, of mothers and children. The men are away. The young men and the girls are away. The soil cannot keep them anymore. What is broken cannot be unbroken.